Time for another Tuesday Night Live.
We back.
The cat is here ready to join us.
I think she's actually going to attack me in a second.
That'd be pretty funny live on air.
No, it wouldn't.
Let's say g'day to everyone in chat before we get into tonight's chat.
Yeah, and let us know if you can hear us and see us.
Up to thrift. I don't like
rather
these.
we mute ourselves.
I don't like these daylight savings. Yeah, no, it's changed around. I had to check all the time zones to work out when everyone was going to be able to join us. Direct Flipper's in. Brad, congratulations on the big 3K legends. Very well deserved. We would like to say a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to us to get us to that 3K.
Pretty bloody cool.
Yeah, we never expected to sort of even get close to anywhere near that. We just really wanted to put out some content and try and share a bit of our journey. So for us to get to 3K is incredible, and we truly appreciate every single person that joins us on our journey. And if we can help even one person along the way, that's what we want to do. So
yeah, what this guy said.
Big thank you for your help. We will be doing a 3K live giveaway probably in the next week or so. So I want to put together some pretty awesome stuff for you guys as a big thanks for all your support. So
more party atmosphere.
Yeah, I want to get that sorted. So I'll probably put something out about that later this week. Hey guys, no risk, no reward.
That's
absolutely. Good evening, Tamara. Thanks for being here. Rebecca Turner, thanks very much for coming along.
There's the jump.
We have Jesse Lee. Thanks for being here. What's up, everyone? Congratulations on 3K. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up.
Thanks, fam.
Thank you very much. Raucous Reg.
I love that name.
Oz Riley, good to see you.
Hey.
Trish is here. Thanks for coming.
Hello.
Denny Carr, good to see you, mate. Captain's in the house.
Captain.
What's up, Toby? Thanks for coming. He sold his Guns N' Roses tee. That was awesome.
Ooh,
out the door.
3K.
Thanks, Robbie. Gay's in.
Hi.
Jasmin's here. Shazad. Picture super crisp.
We're crispy.
We plugged it into the Ethernet cable, which we usually don't do.
We have more better internet.
We've been having internet problems, so we thought we'd better do that. Samantha. Mal's in. Kersko actually asked us a question over on Instagram, or provide a little bit of feedback for the show, so we will get into that. Raw's here.
Rory.
Party Tom. Tanil. Hey, Tanil. Must see. Yeah, that's a fair call. I don't blame you. Evening, everyone, and good evening all. Remember, everyone here at 3,000 when you're maybe cut out about 4 of those zeros when we're at 10 subscribers, because you never know what's going to happen from here.
Gary.
What's up, Gary? Tawsy Thrift is live on Works Wi-Fi.
Don't do it, Rob.
Does the internet run backwards like the toilet?
Yes.
Yes, it does. All right, so tonight we wanted to talk to you about why we are risking it all, and also talk a little bit about sort of dealing with risks and managing fear, because
it's real.
We've had some pretty crazy buys lately, and a lot of people would sort of be, talking about what's the risk involved with buying these sorts of deals. Obviously, you're spending a lot of capital. How quickly are you going to get that back? And I think a lot of those things come back to fear as well. So we wanted to sort of get into a little bit about that tonight. We've asked for some help over on Instagram. So we've got a bunch of people that have sort of told us a bit about their fears and some of the risks they deal with within their business. So we will get into that. We've broken it down to sort of 2 sections, risk and then obviously fear. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience and how I sort of deal with risk.
Please go ahead.
So before I moved to Adelaide, I worked on power lines as a linesman, apprentice linesman. And a lot of the times before we started a job, we would do like a risk analysis to work out how dangerous the job was and how likely something was to happen. So we used to use like a risk rating. Now I've got a very simple example of this for you guys to have a look at, just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not sort of suggesting that you guys need to do a risk analysis every time you go to a buy, but I think it's good to have in the back of your mind, like, what is the impact of the risk you're taking?
Potential
like
risks.
Is it going to be a low risk in that, you have a lot of capital on hand, you're not too worried, you have a good stock level? Is it a medium impact risk, as in you're spending quite a lot of money and you maybe sort of drying your funds up for a little while? Or is it a high impact in that you have to leverage your account or credit to get more money, so borrowing money and stuff like that, whether that's PayPal loans or business loans, whatever you want to use. And I guess, what is the probability of you getting into that bad situation? So if it's low probability that that deal's going to go bad for you,
Not likely.
then it's not a big problem. If it's medium, there are some risks involved, but the probability of that high impact being the truth is still not that big a deal. So it's still low risk. Or is it high probability that something's going to go wrong with the deal?
Alarms going off.
So I like to use this just as something in my head. Like, I don't come and look at this every single time I'm doing a deal, but I like to think about this when I'm looking at a deal. How impactful is this going to be on my bottom line and my business going forward?
Shazad says he lives in the red zone.
He does. I'm not surprised. But I think for us, sort of smaller businesses, we have to be a lot more careful with our cash flow. Obviously, Shazad's business is a completely different sort of business. He has wholesale suppliers where he can buy and sell constantly, whereas us, we have to go out and find these deals. We have to constantly buy new stuff to sort of make our accounts tick through.
He's playing with bigger money. It's big risks, but a different game.
I've hung out with a few linesmen in my day. It was an interesting job.
Shops.
Thank you for coming. Mum's in the house. Thanks for being here. Car is in as well. Technically, I'm on work's Wi-Fi too, Rob.
I mean, same.
Everyone's saying data lucky as well. So yeah, I like to think about risk in that sort of analysis. So how risky is it going to be, and what is the impact going to be if that risk comes true? So as a liney, if you're working live on equipment, your risk is quite high. So you have to do things to prevent that risk. So how can you either remove that risk, how can you reduce that risk, or how can you protect against that risk? So there is like a hierarchy involved with that sort of stuff. But you guys don't really need to think about that. You just sort of want to be thinking about, rating the risk of that in your own mind. So when we're doing the games hall, for example, the risk on that, in my mind, was quite low because, yes, we were spending $20,000
with a stranger.
However, so there's
the stock that we could not physically see.
They're probably let's go back and let's talk about the end result, because the end result was low. But
but there was
the start result was probably high.
Alarm bells ringing, me telling you were crazy.
It was $20,000. It was with a stranger, and we couldn't see the stock. So right off the bat, it was high, but we were able to reduce that risk by putting things in place.
Yeah.
So we had a third party involved, which we knew.
Yeah.
We were able to pay with everything by PayPal.
Yeah.
So we were protected by PayPal if something went wrong.
Okay, it's going down to medium.
Got pictures of every single box and every single item that was in that box. So we're sort of, the impact is quite high, but we're sliding down the scale. And by the end of it, we were in the low category because we also held some money until we actually got the items. So
it went down to low impact, low probability, and we're feeling pretty sweet about it.
Yeah. Obviously, the return on that stuff was going to be really good because of COVID and the amount of sales that were happening on game stuff. It was a very hot item at the time. So that kind of put us in the category where we're all comfortable to do that deal.
Sorry, Toby. Project management charts in his time off. There is no time off, on all the time.
Been through a lot during my life, but I will happily pay for items that others may not. I have a small pot of jewelry which I should take to the jewelers to check out for sure.
I would like
Troll got out
pot
again.
of gold. Missed it. Low impact troll.
Got prisoner.
The troll got out.
Get your sword on. There you go.
Go sword him, Rob.
So mitigate that risk is essentially what I'm sort of suggesting. So I guess if you're looking at buying a bulk deal, you want to be looking at how much money you have on hand, how quickly you're going to be able to turn that stock. So how quickly is that item selling? How much stock do you have on hand to protect yourself as well? So one thing that we have in our back pocket is we have 3,000 listings in our store.
Yeah.
So if we buy a bulk deal, the bulk deal isn't the only thing that has to sell. We have 3,000 items sitting there that ticks over regularly, gets us income back in. So us dropping that amount of money, yes, was risky and there was some fear involved, but we knew that we were safe in our investment, and we knew that having all that stock there, regardless of what happened with the game deal, we were protected.
I think of it as 2 sliding scales. So I've got my stock that's listed and is going to keep chipping into what I've got. And even if I spend my capital, it's still going to keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
If it goes backwards, you're in
You're in trouble. So removing, reducing, or protecting against the risk is pretty important. So what could you put in place to make sure that that deal is going to go well for you, whether that's securing the deal by PayPal, so if something does go sketchy,
good old PayPal,
you will be protected. And someone did sort of say something about being scammed with a bulk buy. So Hunter Tribe Co. being scammed by a bulk buy is a huge deal, because obviously if you're outlaying a lot of money, you want to make sure that you're protected against any sort of scammers or anything like that. So yeah, there are ways to get around it using PayPal as a security blanket. We also traded license details with that individual, because we knew that $20,000 on a game deal, there was risk involved. So we needed to bring down that risk by having their license. We knew that if they took our $20,000 and ran off, we knew where they lived. We had their license details so we could contact the police. So yeah, let's jump back to the chat. 90% of your risk is linked to your level of research. Yes, as your level of research increases, level of risk decreases. Your profit is made by buying and buying. I don't know what that says. Something selling. I agree, definitely. So researching the product that you have and working out what the sell-through rate is, how much it's selling for, and then doing your numbers backwards. So if you can get that buying cost lower, you're obviously going to make more on the back end, because
you would hope so.
You can't really increase the amount that an item is selling for. Obviously, you can try and maximize it by good photos, good title, good item specifics, but you can't really go past a certain point. So if you can drop the buy-in price down, and you know what the cost of goods is, you know what your postage is going to be, you know your fees, then you can kind of sort of work backwards, which is what we did on the games deal. And it's also what we did this weekend. So when we say we are risking it all, we're talking about investing a huge amount of money into new stock. So
that's a few times in a row now where we've built up our capital to what I would think is a pretty chunky number, and then we have spent pretty much all of it in one go. Thanks, Megan.
So obviously we've been sharing a little bit about our capital on Instagram, because I have a few questions about, are you guys using PayPal loans to get these deals? How are you guys spending all this money and still staying afloat as a business? So we have discussed in the past where we have used PayPal loans. So we've used them twice now. We used them initially on part of the big R.M. Williams deal that we did, a year and a half ago now.
That seems like 10 years ago, man.
So we borrowed a small amount of money to get that one over the line and paid that off within a month. And then we also borrowed a percentage of the gaming stuff to get that deal done. So we had, at that point in time, we had about 16 grand in our account. So we needed the extra amount of money, $6,000 to get the deal done and make sure that we had capital ongoing.
And we don't recommend taking out any loans if you don't need to, or if there is any risk at all that you can't pay it back. But the reason that we do that people have asked us about a few times since, is to provide a cushion. We know that we're still going to have money that's coming in from our 3,000 strong store behind us while we do a deal. But during the week when we've outlaid our money, we do want to have a little cushion there, so that if something else comes up, we're good, and then we can pay that off whenever we want to, really.
Yeah, so those are the only 2 times that we've ever had to utilize PayPal deals. Now, we've paid them off very quickly because the stock that we bought was very good quality. So now we're in a position where we've paid those loans off 6 months ago. Probably less for the game lot, but let's say 4 months it would be now, I reckon, because we paid that one off very quickly. And now we're in a position where we have a bunch of cash just sitting in our account waiting for that next deal. So that next deal was actually on the weekend. Now, we can't go into details about this particular deal, but we do want to show you us taking risks in our business. So I'll share what we have been sharing on Instagram if you guys haven't seen that before. So And where are we? This one here. So I think this was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we shared that we had $36,000 total, $10,000 in saved money and on my personal account.
I haven't actually looked at this.
And $26,000 of capital. So $36,000 total. After this weekend, we are, let's go out of that one.
You got a new graph for us?
I did something and I don't know where it's gone.
That one.
Yes.
I can see it. It looks not as healthy.
Is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to work.
Oh, no.
But essentially, let's see if I can get it up.
Don't take that out of context.
Is that working? Let's look. Yeah, there we go. So as you guys can see, we spent a big amount of money over the weekend on a new investment, and our capital has dropped to $10,000. So essentially we've spent $16,000 on a new investment for our business. So that's a huge risk. And there was obviously massive fear involved with that because of the situation that we're in.
I'm a vegetable tonight. I'm mentally and physically drained after having done that.
Yeah, so that's something that we took a risk on, and there was massive fear in that deal. So we want to talk about the fear involved with that. So firstly, yes, there's risk involved, like we said, but we have a contingency plan in place. So if this stock wasn't to move, which there's no way it's not going to move, there is still really good margin on this. So if we got in a bind and something really bad happened to us and we both I lost my job and we're unable to pay our bills, we would be able to wholesale this stuff to other people at a small profit and get our money back really quickly, because the stock that we're able to get is very high quality and we got it at a good price. So that's our contingency plan. So we've mitigated part of the risk of this particular deal, but we're still dealing with the fear part of it. So
even when you have nailed down what is your worst case scenario, then it's like your logical brain switches to the emotional. And then how do you deal with that?
Risk all depends what your end goal is. I'm at the point where...
Oh, the suspense.
Dun, dun, dun.
Come on.
That's definitely true, because when we were initially starting, we didn't take as many risks as we do now. Obviously, they are calculated risks, and we do all our research to make sure we're going to make money, but it's still a risk involved. So when we were first starting out and we didn't have the capital to buy these things, there was no way we were going to go out and buy a huge amount of deals. You guys, the first deal that you guys probably saw from us was the ink haul, and we'd already been reselling for about a year and a half at that point, I think. So we'd slowly built up that capital. We initially invested about $1,500 into our business, and we've just built and built and built and built to where we are now. Obviously, we're not where we want to be in the end, so we're not saying that it's the perfect strategy, but now we're able to outlay huge amounts of money, get those deals that really scale our business. So buying that first ink haul really helped propel our business into the next level.
And guess what? There was fear involved.
Absolutely. So let's talk about fear and how that can really affect you. So I want to bring up a comment that our friend Retro Rescuers dropped us over on Instagram, because I think this is 100% true. If there is no fear, you're doing it wrong. So
I can appreciate that.
I think that is very, very true.
I think that in the car on the weekend, I actually said to you, it's okay that we're both bricking it right now, because if we weren't nervous at all, it's probably not worth doing.
Yeah. So I think being able to sort of deal with that fear is different to experiencing the fear. So yeah, absolutely, you're going to experience fear, but how you react to that fear is the difference between being able to make a sound decision and potentially making a wrong decision, or letting a deal slip past you because you were too scared to take it. So I want to also bring up a couple other points here. So bulk lots that don't give me a good return is what Steph's saying. So I think by looking at sell-through rate is massively key to that. So how quickly you can turn that stock back over.
And do you have a contingency plan if, say, you can't sell it on the platform or to the person that you were expecting to?
Let's go through some other fears here while we're at it. So
it's making me nervous.
Tams was saying, Offshore Weirdness was saying, sudden stop in sales. I think that's a massive fear for a lot of us resellers. Obviously, last year we had the item specifics gate, which took down a lot of people, and a lot of people were struggling with sales. I'm sort of looking at 6 months from now. So obviously JobKeeper got extended to March 2021, which is great for all of us as resellers. But I'm sort of I'm trying to predict that what happens after that date.
When do people just run out of money to spend in our stores?
And are people going to shop online, or are they going to shop at their local stores? Like, what's the trend going to be at that point in time? So yes, we've just spent a lot of money. The stock that we got is something that is continuously going to remain a staple. So I'm pretty confident in that perspective.
I'm always asking myself, does this have an expiry date? Is this still going to be relevant stock in a year?
Definitely.
In a year and a half, if I have a lot of it?
There is always a chance things won't work out exactly how you predicted, but adapt and move on.
Adapt.
Kersko saying definitely the fear of failing. So
that's so normal.
When I read this comment, I thought to myself, what are you failing though? Like, because you're only failing your own expectations, right?
Of failure as like, here's what I want to do, and if I don't get there, and if I don't do it in the time, and if I don't do it in the way that I expected, then that's a failure. And I think we should just scrap that.
Yeah, I think we need to like flip that. So the only person you're potentially failing is yourself. And if you're able to get yourself out of that situation, you've rectified that problem. So yes, there'll be failures along the way, but if you're able to get the best out of those circumstances, then it's not really a failure. You're just moving in a different direction. Exactly. You're just changing the way that you want to deal with that situation. It may not work out exactly how you want to do it. And a really good example of that is that book haul that we talk about very early on in our experience. Before we're on YouTube, before we did a lot of Instagram, we bought like 2 pallets of books for like $36.
What was that?
2 pallets of books.
I heard a we. Brad bought 2 pallets of books. No.
I bought 2 pallets of books.
We're a team.
At that point in time, it was me. I bought 2 pallets of books, and it took us a long time to sort through them. We're living in a 2-bedroom apartment, so it was so hard to deal with that amount of stock. So that was an issue. So we had to pivot. So we started going out to markets. We were donating a heap of them. We made quite a lot of money off that lot, but
we did.
It was very difficult. It was not enough room in a house. There wasn't enough space to move. There was boxes everywhere. So I think being able to change the situation, as much as that was a failure in terms of my pre-planning, it taught me a lot. So changing that up and working out what's going to work.
It taught us not to bite off more than we can chew.
So if you guys have any sort of failures or fears you want to talk about, drop them in the chat. We will pick them up along the way.
Neil remembers that.
Yeah, that was
Do you remember
crazy.
Me crying?
I fear never eating chocolate.
There's
a fear of growing and then not sustaining it for me. Yeah, I think that is a big one. Obviously,
no one likes to feel like they're going backwards. But again, I think like that's an expectation we set for ourselves. So you can change your expectation and be flexible with yourself and be gentle with yourself.
I think we've sort of thinking a lot about that lately as well, because obviously we try and share as much as we can. So we put our numbers out there. We sort of talk about how we got to that point. All the way from zero, we've shared our numbers.
I went back on our Instagram and found our first one. It was $20.
Yeah. So our fear is that COVID's going to drop. Our numbers are going to come down, and then it looks like we're not achieving what we want to achieve. But we've always been of the opinion that you have to move with the market. So yes, our numbers might come down, but there's reasons behind that. So how can we continue to do those numbers with a drop in the market? So if the market drops by 20%, how are we going to fill that 20%? And in my eyes, it's about offering a wider range of selection for people to buy.
Yeah, we're trying to hit every single category.
Doing very well. Good to see you, Sinister. I'd totally buy 2 parts of books. Yeah.
Which books?
Yeah, that's key.
This was sight unseen.
This was just random stuff.
It was not good.
There was some really good stuff in there, but there was a lot of stuff that wasn't sellable. So I think it's very, very important to know that.
Cara said that sounds like our house now. Difference is I can sell what's in these boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Our house is like insanely overstocked at the moment because what we bought on the weekend, because of the $20,000 deal we did a while ago.
Brad's discovered wholesale.
Yeah, I have discovered wholesale as well. So I was actually looking at some storage options today. The one I was looking at didn't work out because you couldn't access after hours, which is ridiculous.
Stupid. But this is something that used to cause me crushing anxiety. And now it's shifted somewhat, probably because the stock is better.
Yeah.
But also I literally go through my little checklist
Yeah.
of what could go wrong here. What's actually making me afraid.
So many unforeseen variables in business. If all goes to plan, you're probably being blinkered and missed opportunities. 100%. So a very good example of that is this deal that we did on the weekend. Obviously, we're keeping the information close to our chest because we need to protect our channel and we need to protect our business. But essentially, there was a lot of other deals around at that same point in time, right?
Yes.
There's some pretty significant discounts going on down at the DFO at the moment, which I know a couple other resellers have been on. There was a really good garage sale down the road that was selling pops and stuff like that. And we definitely could have gone and blown a bunch of money there. But we decided to focus on this specific buyer because we hadn't heard anyone else talking about it. We hadn't had anyone else sort of, mention it at all. So we were very focused in on making this work for our business. So
I think mental space is really important. And we actually didn't list for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. So Saturday and Sunday, we do talk about this in our Friday video a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So Saturday and Sunday, we actually did a whole bunch of end listing and sell similar to try and get some of our older stock back up to the top. We're running a few auctions at the moment to try and clear some space on stuff that doesn't suit our business model anymore. So stuff we picked up early on. So we were really sort of working through this deal in our head of how we were going to make it happen because firstly, we had no in to this deal. There was no connection that we had already established to make this work. This was not from op shops or anything like that, so we didn't have any prior experience in this sort of thing. So
and we didn't know what the attitude was going to be toward resellers.
Yeah.
Which was scary as shit.
So scary. So we were dealing with a lot of like fear in that we're like, oh, what if we start talking to them and they say, no, we don't want to do deals with you. Like, where are you trying to sell stuff? Like, and then like looking into us and looking at some of the other stuff we sell.
Mad at us?
Yeah, but that was all just like legitimate, just fear and rubbish fear. Because the one thing that we started, when we started working through these fears, it was like, what do we know versus what do they know? So all they know is that we're two people walking into a situation offering to buy a liquidation lot, essentially. They don't know that we, put a lot of content out on the internet. They don't know that we have a large eBay store as it is. They know nothing. So essentially all they're seeing is us walking into a shop and saying, hey, we want to buy your stuff.
And when we do that, we put our confident boots on and we don't walk in and say, oh, we're two people who work from home and we sell things online and we shop at op shops. We walk in and we say, we buy liquidation or we buy overstock. This is who we are. We're the people to deal with.
The cat's going to put a nose on the chat and probably block someone in a second.
Typing in the chat.
So yeah, we sort of put ourselves in a position where we're presenting ourselves as people that they want to work with. So by presenting ourselves in a fashion where we're saying, hey, we do this regularly, which is true because we've done it with other companies before, and sort of putting them in this position where they feel comfortable with dealing with us. So
you almost gave a resume.
Yeah, pretty much. We were like, hey, we've worked with these people before. We've done this, we've done that. So
we're the people.
Yeah. And I guess what we knew is that they were in a situation where they had a lot of stock. They had run a sale for a significant amount of time where people were going in and buying stuff because it's good quality, but they weren't able to clear it because they'd only had a week period of time to move that stock. So that was great for our business.
How can we help you?
Got to have contingencies in place, definitely for sure. I'm going backwards big time and failing at reselling at the moment, but Buckle & Co.
I was about to say, if you didn't, Zach, I'm sorry, you're failing at reselling. You're succeeding.
You're pivoting. So you're not failing at reselling. You're succeeding at Buckle & Co. And Now that things are starting to open up, I can absolutely understand why that is your focus.
I've been dreaming of that fruit chutney, man.
You can't do everything, absolutely.
Well,
Just got to align the ducks. In time, you educate yourself on what to do and what you buy. Yeah, absolutely. So books may work for other people, but only very specific books work.
Well, we
for
buy
our model.
books.
Yeah.
We just don't buy 2 pallets of books sight unseen anymore.
I'm self-banned from the chat.
No, I unban you.
Hey, Matt, I'm new to the channel.
Hi.
Have you bought trading cards at garage sales? Australia's starting to get bigger now. Trading cards is not something I'm very versed in, but I know that Look Mum I'm Hustling, Drew's into trading cards. I know Boy Driver Flipper is big into it.
We've
Robbie
had
gets involved.
accidental good luck with trading cards,
definitely.
but it's not things we've gone out and found. It's things that we've discovered that we bought, among other things, and some of them were really great. But we don't have knowledge in that area per se.
Pitter Patter, great content. You guys can do it.
Thanks.
If you give someone a fair price, they probably won't care what happens to the stock. They want to get rid of it, and after all, nothing better than swooping on dead stock.
This is the thing. We put ourselves as part of this whole process of dispersing fear. You know, what are their goals and what are they looking to get out of it, and how will they see us, and how can we present ourselves as something
people they want to do.
They're going to want to engage with.
Let's jump on some more IG points. Able to sell items and then having the stock cluttering your house. Yeah, so I think if you are in that situation where stuff's sitting too long, you need to look at moving it on. So whether you send it to an auction on eBay or an auction house, or if it is good stock and you're just running out of room, whether you can wholesale it. So I think there are options. Obviously, as you scale like we are, we're buying more stock. So of course we're going to fill our house quickly because the amount of stock we're buying is growing exponentially. I think in the last like probably 6 months, we've probably bought 7,000 items. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. 7,000 items we've bought. So obviously listing all that stock is going to take time, but the stock we're buying, we're comfortable with. So that's probably another point as well, is investing $16,000 to maybe get $120,000, $130,000 down the track. That's a good investment, right? But a lot of people say, well, how long is it going to take to get that $116,000? My counter to that is along the way, I'm going to be selling part of that stock. So it's not like today I spent $16,000 and in 2 years' time, I get 120 grand. That's not how it works. It's I spend $16,000 today, and incrementally over that 2-year period, I'm getting money back the whole period of time. So say it takes me 2 years to sell everything and it all sells for $120,000. That's $5,000 a month of cash flow coming back into my business. So
this is something I didn't understand early on, but on our last 2 absolutely massive hauls, we've seen returns same day.
Yeah.
Same day as listing, same day as receiving. We've started seeing returns. So
91 people here. So thank you very much for being in. I will get back to the chat shortly. So if you guys have any questions or fears you want to talk about, or risks that you guys have taken and worked out for you or haven't worked out, please drop them in because we would love to hear what you guys have to say as well.
And something we don't talk about a whole heap because
risk.
we're working at different levels and taking different levels of risk, but I think we all have some sort of anxiety. I know some people have anxiety going into op shops and buying to resell because what will they think of me bringing up all these things that are different sizes? We should talk about it more.
My Aussie reselling journey, Marie. Not enough time once I finish my day job, sort kids out, dinner, pack sales. Too tired to list. Absolutely. I think that's a massive problem for everyone in this community, especially if you're working a part-time job, you have kids. It's very, very hard. So I think making the time when you have time. So working out when is the best time for you to go outsourcing or do those listings and really focus in. So if you have a 2 to 3 hour period on a weekend where, maybe your kids are doing something else or they're occupied, and you can smash out, if you can smash out 50 listings in that 3-4 hour period and schedule them to go live through the week, or save them as drafts so that your store keeps that momentum. You don't have to do 50 items and do them on one day and then wait a week and do another 50 items. You can space those out to make your store sort of flow better. We found that works really well for us. So
I feel like we all think that we're not maximizing our time enough.
One of Robbie's fears is being undercut by Twazzy thrifters. Jokes, he'll undercut us first.
I was going to say.
We don't tend to undercut.
anyone.
If anything, we probably go a little bit higher than market so that we can incorporate offers into our listings.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that one, Robbie.
You were worried I was going to kick the microphone.
I was worried. Biggest risk for Maddie is buying bulk DVDs unseen and then the fear of being banned like Gary was.
Okay, that's fair.
That is a very fair call. So I think you have to do your research. Obviously, when you go to get the deal, maybe that's the point in time where you can be like, all right, I'm going to have a really good look at this before I purchase it. Make sure that everything's in line before you do that.
Stop everything. I've just seen Bumcrack Picker.
Hey.
Hello.
BCP, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Been in stealth mode. Hope you're well. We are both very well. Thank you very much.
So good to see you.
Let's go back up here. The worst case scenario, Anthony's saying, is that you walk away with a stranger disliking you. If you're afraid of that, reselling is going to burn you out very quickly.
It will burn you out so quickly.
I guess our concern was partly that. But we were more concerned about the flow-on effect if they were really against us reselling. So,
yeah.
However,
we could have lost other opportunities as well as this one.
However, when we actually approached them, they were very happy to deal with us because
this was a strange situation.
Yeah, they needed to get rid of stock, so they didn't have to stock take it. So the people we were dealing with were like, "This is awesome." Like, you guys are getting rid of like 2,000 plus items.
It's about getting in front of the right person who shares your view and can see that you're going to help them, because we spent about a week freaking out and up until the last minute, and I mean the last like 5 minutes that this would have been available, we thought it was a no until it was a yes, like that.
And then it was on like Donkey Kong.
My God, it's been such a roller coaster. I'm very flat now.
Costco, I got too excited on my first weekend out garage sale earlier this year after discovering reselling, and I bought a giant box of fake Pokemon cards.
I would not be able to tell a real Pokemon card from a fake.
But you didn't know that was definitely worth the risk. Unfortunately, they were fake. So
learning opportunities. Do you know now, after doing that, how to spot a real Pokemon card because you've leveled up?
Do you have any fears associated with YouTube and the impact the growth will have on your business? So I think Drew's trying to say, am I concerned that spending time on YouTube will slow our business down?
Time on YouTube, people clicking on your store and affecting your sell-through rate?
Yeah, I guess that is part of... I guess that's a small fear.
Is it a real fear?
But however, if we weren't out there on YouTube, I don't think we would have actually got the bulk deal for the games, because that came through a YouTube contact.
That's right, because Michael got in touch with us.
Yeah, so in one way, there's a lot of time that we spend putting into YouTube, trying to come up with topics that are going to help other people that we've dealt with ourselves personally, so we can try and give you a little bit of insight.
What was relevant to us this week?
Obviously, editing videos takes a long period of time, but I think there's two parts of it. Is we've always wanted to try and help people make their own income, because I feel as though if you put good things out into the world, they do come back to you. And we have two examples of that recently, which we'll try and share as they come up.
Oh my gosh.
Soon, hopefully. But also, I've forgotten what my other point was.
Yeah, no, I just got so distracted by that. Yeah.
So
something really cool happened. We'll tell you later.
Yeah, putting goodness out into the community, but also putting yourself out there where people know that you're buying a lot of stuff and, you know, you're a reliable source and that you're willing to do these deals could potentially be the difference between us not getting to where we want to be and being able to get where we want to be. So
yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely some risk involved. Obviously, there's the chance that you're going to get trolls trying to mess with your business, which we've had in the past. But overall, 99.9% of YouTube is amazing. The connections that we've made with all the people here, the deals that we've been able to broker through having connections has been amazing. So
having a community.
Yeah, Nick, good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. I wanted to say thanks for coming.
The chat is coming. Money is a tool. 16K in the bank, 2 years on maybe 16,500 stocks. Exchange maybe 1,800. Yep, 18,000. High risk money is a tool. Get out what you have taught.
Get out of what you've been taught about money.
That's one thing.
I can almost pinpoint the day that my brain just went like, oh.
Yeah. We're definitely.
I've been thinking about money completely wrong.
Cheapest does not always sell. That's a very good point, Daryl.
Very good point.
Good advice, Drew. 100%. I think that's something that we're very conscious of is, we're spending a lot of money at the moment. We're still able to pay Jasmin a reasonable wage.
Thanks.
And we're growing our business. So I don't need to take anything out apart from what I pay Jasmin. So if I can pay Jasmin every week, which is the first priority.
If I remind you.
Which has been happening ongoing regularly now, it doesn't matter. If I'm buying good quality stock and building up our inventory, then when we get to that level of that 20K a month consistently, which we dropped just below this last month, if we can keep building our store to that level and above, then long term, we're going to be able to like get to a point where both of us can go full time. And then it's really about leveling up. So probably right now we only have, I don't know, maybe 15% left in us in our current situation, like refining a couple little processes, cleaning up our house so it's more ergonomically efficient, and me getting a little bit more time on the business. So there's only probably 10 or 15% left in our current situation. I mean, without changing my work
before
situation.
We like address and reassess our goals.
If we both went full time, I reckon we'd have another 40% availability for us to scale on our own.
Well,
so because
and those are just our goals. Like, we're not saying that your goals should be to go full-time reselling. Everyone wants different things.
Thanks, Zach. I really appreciate it. Money watching us insane. They were very
Cheers,
nice.
Zach.
Resellers don't press the like button.
They're afraid it's going to cost money. We're just glad that you'll want to come hang out with us.
Doing a learning moment for sure. A bunch of faves.
I have a stack of Pokemon cards. I have no idea if they're real.
I find in where I live, Savers and Salvos sell certain items like video games, toys, etc. at eBay prices that makes it hard to buy.
Sure
Absolutely.
Does.
We're actually talking
Sure
about
does.
What's been happening for us for the last sort of 6 months. So because of the way we've been buying, we really didn't need to go to any op shops in the last 6 months.
Definitely haven't needed to.
We still will because we really love it and you can find some absolute gems. We're never going to change our business to be completely, reliant on these sorts of deals. But these sorts of deals are helping us scale to get where we want to be. So
and then we can go and find those awesome gems and the one-offs that we enjoy.
If you're addicted, I'm going to get you.
Those earrings.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Do you fear you might do too well and drown in the anxiety of keeping up?
Fear of success is a really real thing. And that's another thing we don't talk much about, is that people get afraid of how far they can take something and they self-sabotage.
I think the only fear that I have involved is not being able to find somewhere to store all this stuff that we're buying. So because we're in like a massive period of scale, like we're really ramping up to get to that point where we want to be, we need to find somewhere to put this stuff that we have that's going to tick over time. So not everything you buy is going to sell like that, but having a mix of really quick flips and those more long tail items is sort of what keeps a business successful in my eyes, because your quick flips, you might make a little bit less profit, but you're getting money in and out, but you still want those really sort of, really strong profit items, which is
what
more
we want. We definitely do need both. That's such an interesting question. I'm going to have to meditate on that for a week and come back to you.
Do you all want the orange man? Do you all want the orange man?
Do we want to buy their president?
Oh no, you can keep him. That's you can. I would no. In lockdown, bought a few things from online op shops in desperation. 2 were fakes. Ooh. Thankfully, not a big investment. So considering the dollars, a charitable donation, and luckily loss almost balanced my wins.
That's a good way to look at it. I would discourage anyone from redonating fakes if you can, because it's just balls when someone else picks it up and thinks it's real and then just another person's gotten burnt.
In my experience, the vast majority of people are decent. 100%, Danny.
Yeah.
Grow this wealth. That's the plan.
You're one of them.
Our sales down the past 2 weeks. Yeah, that's something we're happy to talk about. So September, October in our experience, so sort of 3 Christmases now, September, October are generally down because people are starting to think about what Christmas, they're starting to save money for Christmas. So they're not spending as much. So we've just been through a massive period of spending because people had more money and they're at home. Now people are starting to lock down, think about what they need to buy for Christmas and saving that money. So we've seen this 3 years in a row. September, October flattens out, not huge decreases.
We're having a dip, but not a crash.
And then sort of early November right through to sort of December 12th in our experience is when
The 12th?
2 weeks out is when sales sort of go pretty ballistic. So my focus last year was when I was looking at my Christmas numbers, I was like, man, we've had a really good November. I want to make sure that this year coming up, I list really strong all year round so that by the time we hit that peak, we've got as much listing as we can on eBay to get as many sales as we can for that period of time. So definitely don't feel bad if your sales are down at the moment. I think most people are. There are some exceptions to that, obviously, depending on what you're selling and how much you're listing as well. I know people are smashing listings and doing really well. Another thing that you have to take into consideration when you see, certain people getting lots of sales, certain people getting other sales, is there's also a difference in how much the items are selling for. So be aware of that. Don't compare yourself to anyone else unless you know the full story.
We say that to you. We say that to us.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone stop comparing if you can. I know it's hard.
Stuck in budget land tonight. Look forward to watching tomorrow. Sounds like
gotta do
time.
that budget. Charlie's here.
Hey, Charlie. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. I told op shops when they have really obvious fakes, they don't care. We'll sell them anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what level of responsibility they have, but I try not to redonate them if I find them.
Would you consider consignment stock, and if so, what percentage? My first initial reaction to that is no.
Yeah, my knee jerk is like, no.
I wouldn't completely rule it out. It would have to be a good percentage on our end because we would be doing a significant amount of the work. If there was some really high-end items out there that we came across and dealt with somebody and we're able to work out a fair percentage, then definitely. If I can get a good return on it, it's something that I would consider. But if it was just like clothing or normal sort of stock, then I can list my own stuff and make higher margins. So
yeah, I never say never, but it does not appeal to me.
It'd have to be like the right deal. So yeah, I know people that do really well on consignment. Doesn't really suit our business at the moment. So yeah, not ruling it out, but yeah, my initial reaction is no. Sales are up for me, but I'm selling a lot of wood.
Melbourneites.
There you go. Love it. Louis V bags.
Louis V.
Got to go. Thanks for being here, Leanne. Really appreciate it. Hope sales pick up for you. I want to make sure that we haven't missed any comments over on Instagram. I think we did that one. We did that one. We did that one. That one.
Well, we had lots of responses.
Yeah, cool. So I guess let's get back to fear a little bit. So I guess Jazz sort of touched on a little bit there is what are their motivations? So if you are looking to do a big deal, like what are the motivations of the seller? So what is going to help you get the deal? Are they in a situation where that store is no longer going to be available to them and they need to move the stock out? Are they a private seller that is moving house, or there's a deceased estate? What position are they in? So I think almost reverse engineering the situation and putting yourselves in their shoes is the way that we go about a lot of deals. So when we approached these people on the weekend, we're sort of like, hey, we're happy to take a large amount of stock to help you guys move this so you don't have to stock take it all again. We're happy to come on Monday when there's less people around so that we can get the stock out. So putting ourselves in their position and trying to help them feel comfortable in the way that we were dealing with them.
It's crazy to turn it around from feeling like I have no business even asking this and feeling like you're maybe doing something dodgy, that's not going to be well received, to then at the end having them say thank you so much for buying that. It's like, oh wow, that was definitely the right approach.
And that was probably one of the first ones that I was really scared about. Like in the fact that I was like, man, what are they going to think? Like, what is their opinion going to be?
This is not something they do.
Yeah. So having that sort of preset mind sort of put me on the back foot. So I had to like work through those situations. There was some stuff that you brought up that I was like, hang on, they don't know what we
Who
do.
we are.
Like, they have no idea what our circumstances are, right? So why are we putting ourselves in the position where we think they know what we do? All we need to do is go in there and say, hey, we buy liquidation, excess
Would
stock.
you like to?
Do you want to deal with us? And if it was a no, fine, we move on and we go do something else. If it's a yes, then we've just secured ourselves A, an amazing contact, and B, an amazing deal that potentially is going to set us up for the future. So the upside,
then we phoned a friend and said, please help.
we did have to get some help to move the stock. So thank you to Cara for helping us out with that. So I guess once you work out what their situation is, how can you leverage that situation?
And that works for like not just companies like we're talking about, but garage sales,
yeah.
shops.
So I know people that go to garage sales if there's really good stuff there, but there's a lot of it and they don't think it's going to sell. They'll hand out cards and go, hey, once your sale's over, if you want to clear all this out, give me a call, work out a price that works for us both, and I'll take the lot. Or
like, I see you've got this item. I want to buy 50 of those. If you come across more in the future, please call me.
Yeah, definitely. Sales are slow so I've been putting out my lines to catch fish. Bad example metaphorically, as I'm a shit fisher, but I did score some big sales. Love it.
Very nice.
So I guess our message tonight is work out what your risks are when you're doing these sorts of deals and in any business decision that you make, and try and mitigate those risks. So
lower the risk.
Rate the risks, work out if they are substantial or not, and put in some plans to make them less impactful. And then don't be paralyzed by fear. So even if you need to write this stuff down on a piece of paper, talk through it with like your partner or a friend and go,
or us.
Hey, yeah, we're happy to talk to you. Hit us up on Instagram, send us a DM. We're happy to chat, because
we've gotten good at thrashing this stuff out. Is that a real fear, or are you just inventing fears?
Yeah, so I think it's really easy to get caught up in making up excuses why something's not going to work. So going, oh, these people don't want to deal with us. Like, why would they want to do that? Like, what's in it for them? Or this deal is going to go bad and it's going to affect us ongoing. Whereas realistically, there was nothing that could have gone wrong with that deal. Like, if they said no, we move on. There's something else out there for us. But by putting ourselves in a very vulnerable position and going, hey, we want to deal with you guys. This is what we do. It's secured us, hopefully, a contact ongoing. So
I would also say know yourself, because I know how I react to fear, and I know that I jump to the worst case scenario. I know I have a very physical reaction to fear. So I will like shake. I'll get this big like red rash on my chest. So if I know that I'm going to go and talk to someone who can make or break a deal for me and I'm nervous, I will like go through my process and I'll have my little rescue remedy. I'll wear a bloody collared shirt and go, right, now they can't tell that I'm scared at all. Let's go.
Sometimes it's good for us to go out of our comfort zones. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll tell you, Trish, but we can't.
You're the only one.
we can't give out details of this one because
we are under confidentiality on this one.
And we need to protect our investment. So it's something that it will be good for us ongoing. And usually we're more than happy to share when we do these sorts of things.
Well, we like to share in case there's something that might be
beneficial,
helpful. So what we thought, while this was still fresh in our minds, is what was helpful from this is how to deal with anxiety. Yeah,
deal with the risk and deal with the fear, because that's something that we've just been through. Literally Sunday night, neither of us slept very well. We knew the deal was like on the edge of being done, and we just had that adrenaline pumping. So it was very hard for us to get to sleep, but we're able to sort of work through what was keeping us like so anxious. And
it's the first time that both of us have been anxious about something. So yeah, that's the theme of our week and why we're talking about it tonight.
Robbie did make up a bit of an excuse for us on Sunday, saying we're on the 12th. I was hoping I was going to make it back before Wide World of Reselling, so sorry to the boys for not being available for that. But we were at this place for 4.5 hours. So we got there at 4 and got home at 8:30. No, after 8:30, because
the torrential
it was
rain.
about 8:45. So it was a long day, long afternoon, but it was definitely worth what we needed to do. Here's a good saying, ladies and gentlemen, take my advice, take my advice. Whoa.
I don't know what to say to that, Toby.
That's next level. So I guess that's sort of what we want to touch on in terms of fear and risk. If you guys want to drop anything in before we head off tonight, we're more than happy to talk about it. But
If it's something you didn't want to say live, you can always say it after.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Hi.
Global Thrifters. I checked them out on Instagram the other day. Really, really cool couple.
I know.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. So yeah, Friday we'll have another video coming out. Jazz did a little bit of a ride along day in the life of.
I tried to vlog.
So I've got to piece that together over the next couple of days, get that out. We will be organising a 3K giveaway, as I said, to say thank you to all you guys for supporting us from day one to where we are now. It's incredible.
And we'll
to
have
see.
fun and we won't talk about fear and anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully. We also make sure you guys head over to Instagram and get onto the Friday raffle. So it's sold out now, but if you guys want to come along and hang out with us while we do the raffle on Friday, it's going to be 7 p.m. our time. So I don't know if we're ASCD or something. I don't know. Adelaide time, 7 o'clock. We'll be going live, and we'll be also bringing Sam on to present her item that's going to continue the raffle on. So the way this is working is there's 8 awesome accounts that are going to raffle stuff off, 1 each week. And at the end of that raffle, the next person will be presenting their item either via the live or posting up on their account. So make sure you guys head over to Instagram, go follow all those accounts that we're joining up with and collabing with. I
want to see these items.
Because there are some insane items and you guys are going to want to get in on that. So something a bit different.
A raffle advent calendar.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have a pretty significant live coming up in a week and a half time. So stay tuned for that one as well. Big international coming on to have a chat with us, which is going to be some fun.
Oh,
yeah. And we're going to talk a little bit about what they've been up to, and hopefully
all the things we wish we had in Australia.
Yeah, I know, right? There's some crazy stuff over there. So stupid daylight savings. Thank you everyone for coming along. Make sure you smash that like button for us. We really appreciate all your support. Thank you for coming along.
We're going to recover and be so full of energy next week. You won't believe it.
Be bouncing around. I'm not sure if we have the $5 challenge wrapping up pretty soon. So
we sold it.
4 items in the last couple of days.
4 $5 challenge items. Oh my gosh, I love it. Every time one pops up that says $5 challenge in the SKU, I do a little happy
Love
dance.
The Space Jam tee. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show the back of this effectively, but the back of it is like
success. You've
amazing.
Done it.
So I'm very happy with that one. So yeah, the $5 thrift challenge will be ending on the 1st of November. So get your entries in over the next couple of weeks. I have a little bit of an idea that I think will keep it interesting right to the end. So I need to talk to Frankie about it. But what I'm thinking of doing is blacking out the leaderboard.
No.
So for the last week, no one's going to know who's in the top 10. Obviously, there's going to be a few people that are going to stay around that top.
Cruel.
But no one will know who's sneaking into the top 10.
No.
I think I'm going to do it. I think that's going to be awesome. Obviously, we'll still have all the back end checks, so we'll know that it's all legit. But people aren't going to be able to tell who's winning and who's coming 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Obviously, Drew's way ahead at the moment, but
I don't know how I feel about that.
Someone's crack. So I'm going to talk to Frankie about that, because I think that might get a little bit interesting in the end. Some last minute sales. So oh my God, no, don't.
Tony will not cope with that.
But it'll be cool, because then people are going to be like, oh man, I wonder how much I need to get in before at the end.
Get
those last minute sales. So
lodge all those sales that you've forgotten to lodge that have come through in the last fortnight, because I know you've forgotten to.
Yeah, I can't get around it. I mean, no, I can't. I just gotta test your durability there. My favorite Toby.
You're all cruel.
Can I also give a quick shout out before we go to the boys, Brad and Rob, who are doing their Monday night stream now. So make sure you head over to those guys.
They're a scream.
Yeah, always great fun.
It's an uncensored show, so
if you got kids, maybe put them to bed. And obviously all the boys on the Worldwide Reselling, we will be doing our Sunday live every week. So make sure you head over and sub to all those guys. And let's just keep growing this Australian community, because it's great to see so many channels starting to, build up and get to those pretty huge numbers. And hopefully everyone can keep growing together. So show your support to everyone else.
That's a Tommy Bernard quote.
And let's
all grow together.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be cool to see what those guys are up to.
Okay, I have a problem with this Chase the Ace though, because I'm not going to be able to wait every week to flip a card.
And we're horrible at it anyway. Hope everyone is doing well. Good to see you. Community over competition, 100%. Go check out Kara as well, because I hope she's going to put a video out shortly. There's a bunch of people in this chat that you need to check out. So go over, check them out. Drew's Reselling, putting out content all the time, which is awesome.
Yep, seen some repairs on there.
I want to see some stuff from Zach pretty soon, which is really good if we can.
We're happy for chutney videos, by the way.
Definitely.
Just those you know.
Who else is putting out?
Oh, that's a lot of scrolling.
Right. Denny's putting stuff out on Instagram, so go check out Denny. Same with Captain Op Shop. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody. So if I have missed you, we are very sorry. Look, While I'm Hustling, go check them out, because it's a great community. So thank you, everyone, for the support. We really appreciate the 3K subs. We never expected to even get close to that. So thank you.
Kara.
Toby is going to put some bids out at 100, and don't do what Kara says, because that's not true.
Do not unsub to Thrifty Pigs.
I want to see Lucky. She's right here, so we could probably bring her up before we go. Bit of a live Lucky appearance. She's been very quiet tonight, so that's good.
She has been really quiet.
She's got a very loud bell at the moment, so I'm glad she's been quiet for us.
She's like, why did you disturb me?
Yeah, she's having a nap. She's not happy. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Join us next week for some more chats and some more fun. We're doing 3K giveaway and having some fun as well. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week and on Friday in the comments over on the channel. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much.